Shalom. With the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. Got that turned down over there. All right. My name is Precinct Officer Natazaga Bar with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If it is not in the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana, then you are not in the truth. You understand? 1 second here. Find my Spanish script. Where is it at? Where is it at? Uno momento, por favor. Here we go. Shalom. Shalom de todos mis carnales. Shalom a todos mis carnales. Soy la oficial Natazaga Bar de la Escuela Israelita de Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Comienzo en la calle 125 oeste de Harlem, Nueva York, bajo el mando de General. What is going on here? Here we go. Bajo el mando de General Yohana, nosotras no estamos afiliadas a ningún otro grupo israelita. Si no estás en el ISUPK bajo el mando del General Yohana, no estás en la verdad. You understand? We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If you missed the Passover, man, goddamn, you missed an epic Passover. It was glorious. You understand? Shout out to the brothers who graduated Hebrew Academy. You understand? I had the honor of serving the brothers who participated in the state of South Carolina. I had the honor of serving those men, as well as serving the men who instructed those brothers. You understand? And I watched the transformation of all those brothers from day one until the very end. You understand? And at the very end of it, you understand? I saw how brothers. I saw that fine gold of Euphaz that the scriptures talk about. You understand how it describes that a man shall be more precious than fine gold. You understand? Tried in the fire. The way you have that purified gold is with that extremely hot fire that it has to go through and endure. You understand? And I watch these brothers, you understand, get down in the mud, get beat to half to death, you understand, and survive and fight against their demons, fight against all the attacks from Satan that was telling them every day to quit and give up. You understand? I watched those brothers endure, you understand, and it's an honor to serve those men year after year. Whenever the opportunity arises, you understand, I take that opportunity with gladness, you understand, because it is truly an honor, you understand, to see these brothers grow at the capacity that they grow. You understand? It was a glorious thing to see those brothers wear their covers, you understand, year after year, to see brothers get their covers. You understand? It's I can't even describe the feeling that I feel every time I see that. You understand? So you know what I mean, big up to those brothers. You understand? And you know, and if you weren't able to make it due to, you know, some type of illness or medicinal purpose, you understand? I just want to let you know that we represented for you at that Passover. You understand? So though you may not have been there, you understand, you was there. You understand? You was right there with us. You understand? Because you know what I mean. It's like, you know, the brotherhood in the ISUPK is nothing like anywhere on this earth. You understand? And I like the heavy part. I remember I was watching General Muhammad's class. He was talking about how the brother checked in from prison. He said when the brother, they brought General Muhammad the phone, and the brother was in prison wearing all black. You understand? And as he's sitting there telling the story, a tear came to my eye. And then General Muhammad said, you know, it almost made me cry. I almost brought a tear to my eye. I almost bring a tear to my eye now. You understand? Because though we not together physically, you understand, we are together in spirit. You understand? We're going to hold it down for you. If you in prison right now, you in the ISUPK, if you watching this from prison, just know we're going to hold it down till you come home. Huh? You understand? When you come home, best believe we got some good food for you. You understand? And we got some got women waiting on you, strong drink waiting on you, man. We're going to raise up. We're going to continue to raise up this army in the name of the Most High in Christ. You understand? But today we're going to get into our topic. You know what I mean? I don't want to be too long-winded. First of all, before we get into our topic, I want to give everybody a chance to get checked in. You understand? Make sure you sign in with your name, city, and state into the chat. You understand? That way we can get you accounted for so that you can get your Hebrew name. You understand? That's another beautiful thing to see. To see brothers and sisters coming to the truth and change who they are. You understand? And let the old version of them die. You understand? To see that transformation in itself is glorious. See brothers and sisters get raised up and get their new name under the Lord. You understand? So make sure you're checking in. You understand? If you're watching classes and you haven't been signing in, start signing in now. Leave a comment, your name, city, and state. You understand? And if you wish to be a trooper, you understand, make sure you show up in all black. You understand? Show up in all black. Let us know that you down with this work, that you want to see this kingdom built. You understand? And make no mistake about it. The ISUPK is the home of the truth. You understand? There is no truth outside of the ISUPK. You understand? There was no truth before the ISUPK. There is no truth beside the ISUPK. And there will be no truth after the ISUPK. You understand? There is only the ISUPK. You understand? The home of the truth. You understand? Your fake Israelite leaders, listen, if you in a fake Israelite group, listen, I fear for you. You understand? I fear for you if you are in a fake Israelite group. You understand? Because if you don't see what the Most High is doing right now, the Most High is exposing all the evil that's in Israel. You understand? All of the wickedness is in Israel. And it's a beautiful thing to see. You understand? And at the same time, while the Most High is knocking our enemies down, he's raising the ISUPK up. And we're getting stronger and stronger than ever. You understand? And what you're going to see is you sit on the sideline long enough, you're going to see the kingdom of heaven get built. And there ain't going to be no place for you. Ain't going to be no space for you. You understand? Because remember, the scriptures say the kingdom of heaven cometh not with observation. You understand? To put it to you plainly, your grass don't get cut by looking at it. You understand? You don't look at the grass and the grass get cut. You don't look at the dishes and the dishes get washed. You got to get up and you got to wash them dishes. You got to get up and you got to cut that grass. But at the end of the day, what you're going to have is you're going to have a clean and glorious home. You understand? To come home to. You understand? So don't sit here and think the kingdom of heaven is just going to be given to you just because you say Shabbat Shalom and glue some tassels, some tzatziki's on the bottom of your t-shirt. That ain't how you get the kingdom of heaven. You understand? Wearing dreadlocks and celebrating the Passover on the wrong day. The kingdom of heaven ain't coming like that. You understand? The kingdom of heaven is going to come by being built brick by brick by the army of the Most High. You understand? So you can either get down or lay down. You understand? But if you got any questions, by all means, type it into the chat. You understand? Any questions whatsoever. It don't matter if it's on topic or off topic. You understand? So like if I could, can you send me, do you know how to share the link to read? Or did you want to read? All right, give me 1 second. I told another brother that he could read, but since you're here, what was that? What? No, that's not what I'm talking about. We got any questions in the chat? No
properties even after.
Go ahead.
I wore the line. He said, the ISUPK is the only home of the truth.
Get that brother a hand. You understand? Get that brother a hand, man, because he absolutely right. You understand? And that's what I was saying, and that's what people are gonna find out. ISUPK is the only truth, the only home of the truth. You understand? There is no, you know what I mean? I seen some fake Israelite group try to call themselves the home of the truth. How are you the home of the truth when you learn the truth at the home of the truth? You understand?
Right.
Like it don't make no sense. You understand? Let's see, where am I at? Where am I at? All right, Most High Christ. All right. Yeah, the brother said, also said, congratulations to the Hebrew Academy. Damn right. You understand? Big up to the Hebrew Academy graduates. You understand? If you ever been through Hebrew Academy, then you understand that is a tremendous sacrifice. The sacrifice every Sunday. You understand? That just to get out there and get beat down every Sunday. You understand? That is a sacrifice. You understand? You sacrifice that you take away from your rib, you know what I mean, from your kids. You understand? I know brothers would much rather be laid up under some nice warm thigh on a Sunday. You understand? Doing nothing but laying up under that thigh. You understand? But yet, you understand, they're suffering themselves to become something better. You understand? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into our topic. You understand? But if anybody got any questions, you mean don't hesitate to, you know what I mean, let me know. All right. You hear me?
Okay.
All right. All right. So where we at? I want you to go to Exodus chapter 12 and hold on, let me see. Matter of fact, go to verse 11, chapter 11, and start at verse 4. Babakasha.
Okay. This is the book of Exodus, 11 and 4. And Moses said, "This saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt."
Like start at verse 1.
Okay. This is the book of Exodus, 11 and 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh."
So, of course, in the book of Exodus, there were several plagues that the Lord brought on to Egypt because they refused to let the 12 tribes go. You understand? So the Lord is telling Moses that he's going to bring one more plague on to Egypt. You understand? He said he's going to bring one more. I got one more trick up my sleeve for them devils. You understand? And I want to share something to you. I want to mention something that pay attention to this story. You understand? Because when you pay attention to this story, the reason why the book of Exodus is such a beautiful thing to read and understand, and it's such a help for times like this. You understand? Because everything that Egypt did to us, America does it like almost like they're taking notes out of the book of Exodus. You understand? So the same oppression that we were under in Egypt, we under here in America. The same slavery, you understand, the same tactics they use to try to keep us oppressed are the same tactics that America uses. You understand? They're a little more subtle with some things. You understand?
Right.
Like to give you an example, over them purple pigs. They over there in Africa. Because in they group they think that Ham is Israel. You understand? So they over there in Ham country. You understand? Trying to teach Ham that he's God chosen people. You understand? They start throwing rocks and smoke and gas grenades at them. You understand? So they let you know straight up, like they not as subtle as our oppressor here in America. You understand? Well, at one point in time, we was oppressed under them Hamites. You understand? They wore their heart on their sleeve. You know what I mean? They don't like you. They ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna not like you in secret. You understand? They gonna not like you with a rock to the head. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's how you gonna know they don't like you. You gonna catch a rock to the head. You understand? But meanwhile, America, they more subtle. That's why the scriptures say, you understand, that the serpent was the most subtle beast of the field. You understand? So America is more subtle than America. So when you read in the book of Exodus, you understand the same tactics that Egypt used against us, America used against us. You understand? So guess what? The same tactics that we use to get out of Egypt is the same tactics that we're going to use to get out of America. You understand? So pay close attention. You understand? Read verse 1 again.
Okay. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Yet I will bring one more Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards, he will let you go."
So now, does this say that the Israelites picked up swords and stormed the capital? No, it doesn't say that. You understand? That's not how the Israelites got free out of Egypt. You understand? They didn't pick up swords and knives. You're not going to pick up an AR-15 and fight your way to freedom in this country. That's not going to happen. You understand? That's not how we're going to get delivered out of America. You understand? The Lord raised up Egypt. And Egypt at that time was the most powerful and fierce nation in the world. You understand? And the Lord brought them down, brought them to their knees. You understand? The Lord brought plagues on them. You understand? The Lord is going to bring America into the third world's war. And that plague of war is what is going to deliver the 12 tribes. Just like how this plague, the Lord was going to send on Egypt, was going to be the deliverance of the 12 tribes.
Right.
Read on.
When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow his neighbor.
It says do what?
Every man borrow his neighbor.
Now, what does it say at the beginning of that verse?
Speak now in the ears of the people.
To do what?
Speak now in the ears of the people.
So who is he talking to?
Talking to Israel.
No, that's not who the Most High is talking to. Who's the Most High talking to in this scripture? No. He says, speak now to the ears of this people. Who is he telling to go speak to the people?
Oh, Moses.
He told Moses. And Moses told Aaron. In other words, he told the prophets. And he spoke through the prophets. So the Lord sent the prophets to give instruction to the 12 tribes. Read on.
Okay. And let every man borrow his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold.
Go ahead.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man of Moses was very great in the land of Egypt.
So it says, and the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. You understand? Meaning that, yeah, the Egyptians were oppressing them, and they were slaves in Egypt. They were poor in Egypt. But the Lord started to give them favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Can you imagine that? Like, you understand, the Israelites, you understand, started to gain and get riches and get wealth and get power. You understand? And started to be glorious in the sight of the Egyptians. You understand? Even though the Egyptians looked at them like it was an abomination. You understand? But you see them thriving under that oppression. You understand? Read on.
Okay. In the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people.
Go ahead.
And Moses said, this saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. For the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. Verse 6. And there shall be a great cry throughout the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall there be like any, nor shall be like it anymore.
Now think about it like this. He's describing the plague that's about to come in Egypt. He's just coming to the children of Israel, telling them about the plague that's about to happen. This is about to go down. You understand? Just like here in America, what we've been teaching since 1969. America is going to go into World War III, in the thermonuclear war. There's nuclear war coming. You understand? We've been saying this since 1969.
Right.
You understand? Saying that you need to turn back to the Lord, keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Fall up under that banner of what Christ built.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
Such as there was none like it before. Such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it anymore. 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Read that again.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
Now read from that ye may know.
Okay. That ye may know how that the Lord doeth put a difference.
Put a what?
Put a difference.
Put a what?
Put a difference.
So there's a difference. Listen, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. According to the Lord, there's a difference between you and our oppressor. There's a difference between you and a so-called Arab man. There's a difference between you and the Africans. Now, why IUIC can't see the difference, I don't know. You know what I mean? I saw the difference before I even knew I was Israelite. You understand? What you think, Kalad? I remember when I was a kid, I used to be like, everybody used to be like, we black, we from Africa. I'm like, well, thank God I ain't in Africa. You know what I'm saying? I do not want to go there. You know what I'm saying? I did not. Everybody used to tell, even growing up, people like, man, I just want to go back to Africa, connect to the motherland. I was like, man, F Africa. I ain't going over there, man. They got flies that'll kill your ass in Africa. Go ahead.
I was like the little boy for Minister, what it was, Boys in the Hood when they say, I ain't from Africa. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia.
Yeah, I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. I'm from Rolling 60. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to look at it like Africa, man. I ain't going over there, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even like going to the zoo as a kid. Right. You understand? The zoo was the closest thing to Africa I ever want to go to. You understand? Last thing I want to do, unless I own the land and it's my cows and horses taking dumps all over the property, I don't want to be around. I ain't trying to be around no giraffes and lions and baboons and gorillas and you know what I mean, all of that where you can get killed just by hopping off the Jeep. You understand what they call it? The bush out there in Africa. I ain't trying to be out there, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be out there, man. I'm good, man. When the hyenas just come through the neighborhood and eat babies, I'm good, man. Living in a mud hut, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Taking doo-doo showers, nah, I'm good. Places in Africa ain't even got running water, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Eat monkey heads. You ever seen them eat the burnt monkey heads? Man, I seen a video, man. They out there eating burnt monkey heads. You know what I'm saying? Get the monkey. You know what I'm saying? They catch the monkey. They got this thing. It's like a salt trap. You ever heard of the salt trap? Okay. What they do is they'll take like I guess like they'll have like a little mound or something, and they'll put salt inside the mound, make it just big enough for the baboon to put his hand in, and then he'll grab the salt and he'll try to pull his hand out, but because he got his fist clenched, you know what I mean, he can't pull his hand out. You know what I'm saying? So then while his hand's stuck, they go and yam up the monkey, tie him up, you know what I'm saying, then tie him to a tree, and they give him a whole bunch of salt. And just give him a whole bunch of salt, and they just let him, he'll just sit there and eat the salt. You understand? And then after a couple hours, that monkey mouth dry, he thirsty. And so what they'll do is they'll let the monkey go, and the first thing the monkey gonna do is run straight to the fresh water. And so they'll follow the monkey, you know what I mean, go get the fresh water. Then they'll take the monkey, you know what I mean, and throw it on the grill, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, they sit there holding the monkey head, biting the meat off the monkey head. You understand? I ain't trying to be one of them. You know what I'm saying? I never related to no Africans. I never felt like I was African. I never got along with Africans. In fact, whenever I seen an African person, like it's Africans in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's an African family in my neighborhood. And they are completely weird, dog. You know what I'm saying? They do things that black folks do not do. We are not the same people. You know what I'm saying? Like these Hamites, like, listen, dog. They got a whole dining room kitchen set just sitting in the front yard. You know what I'm saying? They just got a whole a table and chairs just in the front yard. And some days you might ride by and they just all sitting there just looking at you drive by. Like, I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with them, man? Like, what is going on with this family? You know what I'm saying? Like the woman, every time you see her, like, you know, I'm a nice neighbor, so I wave at all the neighbors when I ride by. You know what I'm saying? I ride by, wave at her, she look at me like I'm just the filthiest thing on earth. You know what I'm saying? Face all balled up, looking ugly, forehead this big. You know what I'm saying? We are not no Africans.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And they know they not us. You know what I'm saying? We don't live the same. We don't think the same. We don't eat the same. You know what I'm saying? You let an African alone in the zoo, he gonna eat monkey brains. You know what I'm saying? With no seasoning. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen a video of them Hamites trying to open a soda? Listen, man, we are not Africans. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never been Africans. You know what I'm saying? And you definitely can't compare the Native Americans to Africans, because when Christopher Columbus met the Native Americans, he said that they were the most peaceable people that he's ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Native Americans were a highly sophisticated nation of people, or nations of people, between North, Central, and South America. There were Native American tribes out there were so sophisticated in their nature that they had breath mints. You know what I'm saying? That's how advanced they was. While the white man was barely even learning about oral hygiene. You understand? The tribes, they not only did they understand oral hygiene, but they understand, you know what I'm saying, breath mint, smelling good. You know, they had scented body oils and, you know what I mean, smelling good and everything. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, the oppressor, you know how the Native Americans used to, there's I can't remember where I read it at, but there's a story about the Native Americans where they talk about how when they would go to war with our oppressor, they would always know where our oppressor is in the woods because they could smell him. You could smell him. You understand? Because our oppressor wasn't bathing, wearing the same clothes every day. You understand? Stinking, teeth yellow, falling out their mouth. You understand? Dying of syphilis. You know what I'm saying? You can only imagine the funk that came off these devils. You understand? But read on.
Okay. And all these thy servants shall come down unto me, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger.
Go ahead.
9. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. 10. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his hand.
Go ahead. Go ahead to the next chapter of verse.
Exodus 12:1. And the Lord spake unto the And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
Shall be what?
The beginning of months.
So it says, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. What does that mean?
That's the first.
You're right. You understand? Get clout is our hand. You understand? That means it is the first, it's beginning of the year. You understand? Our oppressor, he got you thinking that January is the beginning of the year. You understand? New Year's is at midnight in the dead of winter. You understand? Well, y'all out watching the ball drop, counting down to midnight. You understand? Kissing random people in the mouth, catching mononucleosis. You understand? And thinking that you celebrate the New Year. Well, that is not the New Year. The Lord said, this is the beginning of months. You understand? This is the beginning of the year. You understand? Read on.
It shall be the first month of the year to you.
So this shall be the first month of the year to you. You understand? Read on.
3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers.
Says so read that again. On the 10th day.
In the 10th day of this month They shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers.
Go ahead.
A lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
Go ahead.
5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. 6. And ye shall keep it, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. Verse 8. And
So go ahead.
And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
So now keep in mind this. Keep this in mind, right? Keep this in mind. What's 2 things that are happening? One thing that's happening, well, these are key notes to understand about this story. I want you to hold on to. 1, the Lord is speaking to Israel through his prophets. That's the first thing. He's not speaking to the whole nation. He's not speaking to them in the dreams. They're not hearing voices in their head. You understand? It's not some magic that's happening. You understand? He's speaking to the children of Israel through his prophets. And the prophets are prophesying that there's a coming destruction that's going to come on Egypt. You understand? And this is what the Lord is telling us to do so that we can avoid this destruction and get delivered out of captivity. So he's breaking down the instructions. So these are the instructions. The celebration of the Passover is the instructions that the Lord is giving to them. Because at this point, it's not yet a celebration yet. You understand? These are instructions that the Lord is giving to the children of Israel to do. You understand? Because it hadn't been passed over yet. You understand? Read on.
Okay. Verse 9. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the pureness thereof.
Go ahead.
Verse 10. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And this shall ye eat. And this shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste.
So he's telling them that you shall, read it again, from your loins girded. Go ahead.
And this shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste.
Now think about it like this. I want you to picture this. If you want to understand the spirit of what he's telling the children of Israel to do. He's saying, with your loins girded, with your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. You understand? Hold that. Give me Exodus 15:3, Baba Kashah.
Okay. Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war.
He's what?
A man of war.
The Lord is a man of war. You understand? This is a man of war. The spirit of this Passover is the spirit of warfare. You understand? He says, gird up your loins. You understand? To give you a visual. You understand? When you see that picture of your house, when you see us wear our garments, we typically wear a girdle or a belt around our waist. You understand? In times of old, that was like a plate carrier. Like, you know how the soldiers today wear their bulletproof vests? They wear their plate carriers, you know what I mean, with the level 4 plates and all that. Back in those days, that girdle was the level 4 plate because back then they used swords. So that belt would help to deter you from being thrust through by a sword. So if you was in a sword fight, somebody came and tried to stab you in the stomach, it would be a level of protection. So like it would be a level of protection to keep you from just being thrust through, shish kebab on the battlefield. You understand? So he's saying that gird up your loins, with shoes on your feet and your staff in your hand, and eat it with haste. Think about it in the military, right? In the military, when someone's being deployed and they have to set up camp and they have to eat their MREs, you understand? They don't take their shoes off and get nice and good and relax when they eat their MREs. Nah, they eat their MREs with their loins girded, with their shoes on their feet, and a rifle in their hands. And they eat it fast. You understand? That's the spirit of it. You understand? It's think in terms of warfare. That's the spirit of it. Everything is warfare. Everything, the spirit of the Lord is all about warfare. You understand? You have to develop that militant mind, that militancy to serve the Lord. You understand? Go back to Exodus 12, Baba Kasha, and pick up where you left off.
Okay. It is the Lord's Passover. Verse 12.
Go ahead.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt.
So the Lord is going to send the angel of death down into Egypt. You understand? And the angel of death is going to slaughter children, the firstborn of everything that liveth in Egypt. You understand? Read on.
Both man and beast.
Both man and beast. Meaning Pharaoh dog, the firstborn of his puppies, is going down. Read on.
And against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Meaning all the gods of Egypt, meaning, you know what I mean? Meaning that all of the people in positions of power and authority in Egypt. You understand? That would be like if the Lord said he was going to, like, just like how Isaiah 14:21 says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. Well, guess what? The children of our oppressor are, most of them, a lot of them are the ones that are in power. You understand? The presidents and the governors and the senators. You understand? A lot of them are descendants of great politicians that created great massacres, like the descendants of Andrew Jackson, the descendants of Wade Hampton, the descendants of John C. Calhoun, the descendants of George Washington, the descendants of Thomas Jefferson. What's the John Adams, Franklin Roosevelt. You understand? All of these old time leaders that wiped out hundreds of thousands and millions of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? Those Spaniard families. Like here's the thing, right? Now it has yet to come out, but I believe. So like, I'm not even gonna say what I personally think. Well, I say what I personally think. This is not official. UPK has not been verified. Do not take this as fact. But I personally believe that all of the cartels and all of the drug leaders, all of the people operating on the left-hand side in Central America and South America, I believe that all of them are Edomites. You understand? I believe that they are Spaniards. And the reason why is because of a man named Hernan No, I was about to get the wrong name. Man, oh man, what was his name? It's on the tip of my tongue now. Roberto Suarez. You understand? Roberto Suarez is his name. Roberto Suarez. And you should, and after class, you should go look this person up. If you ever seen that movie, you remember Scarface, Kalataza?
Okay.
Yes, Scarface. Hey, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Most High Christ. All right, Most High Christ. I forgot where I was at, but go ahead and read on.
Okay. Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token.
So now the children of Israel were given instruction by the prophets. You understand? They were given instruction by the people that the Lord set up to be his mouthpiece to our tribes. You understand? So the Lord gave those instructions. And he told them, said, this is what you got to do. You know what I mean? Much like in this time, he told them, get the lamb, kill the lamb, put it on your doorpost. You know what I'm saying? He told them how to cook it, how to eat it. Much like how we tell you, much like how we tell you, what you need to do in these last days in the ISUPK. You understand? One of the orders that one of them is in Zephaniah 2:1. You understand? Now, oftentimes you'll hear when we say Commander Jenny gave the order for all Israel to come together. Well, Commander Jenny is giving the order just like how Moses gave the order. You understand? For us to kill the lamb, put the blood on our doorposts. You understand? And guess what? All of Israel listened to Moses. And all of Israel came up out of there. You understand? But guess what? All of Israel had better listen to Commander Jenny. You understand? With Commander Jenny, what other Israelite group is saying all Israel must come together? What other Israelite group has said that? You understand? What other Israelite group is telling all other Israelite groups you're supposed to be at the Passover, at the ISUPK Passover? You understand? What other Israelite group is doing that? You understand? IUIC having a Passover in Kenya and Africa. You understand? Gorilla Hebrew having a Passover in his ass. Salaki. He having the Passover in his ass. You understand? General Muhammad had me dying laughing. Like when he said, "Where's my cup out?" You understand? You know what I mean? There's only one Passover. Just like how even on this day right here, there was only one Passover. There was one. This is it. This is not. Now imagine that. Imagine that, Kalatazar. Imagine that. Moses gave the order, and you got some Israelites like, nah, we're gonna do it on this day. We're gonna do it on this day. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it on this day too. We're gonna do it a whole nother week prior. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna do it a whole nother week later. Then you know what would have happened? You'd have been burying your firstborn. That's what would have happened. You understand? You want to know why there's so many other fake Israelite groups? The reason why there's so many fake Israelite groups, you understand, is because of the mercy of the Lord. That's why so many Israelite groups. That's why Israel ain't coming together, because of the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is giving brothers mercy. He's giving brothers and sisters mercy. You understand? And you know what? We can't be mad at that, because had it not been for that same mercy, I would be dead and in the grave. I would be serving life in prison. You understand? So if it wouldn't have been for the mercy of the Lord, you understand? You know what happened when fake Israelites rose up against Moses? The Lord opened up the earth and swallowed them. And not on some TD Jakes swallowed up. Not that kind of swallowed up. You understand? I'm talking about the earth cracked open and they fell down in it. You understand? Right there before everybody. You understand? The Lord wasn't playing. The Lord don't play. And you don't take the Lord's mercy for granted. Don't take the Lord's mercy for granted. Because the Lord will show you real quick that he is not to be played with. The Lord will show you, man. And the Lord is showing these fake Israelites. He's showing them left and right. You understand? He's showing them left and right. You understand? I can't imagine how them brothers felt when they was in Africa. You love them Africans so much, and they hate your stinking guts. They hate your guts. Them Africans don't give a damn about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They don't give a damn about us. They don't care. You understand? You over there. Listen, this is what you're doing when you tell an African that Jesus is black. The first thing that goes off in the African mind is, well, I ain't black. So you trying to tell me that Jesus is a cotton picker? Get out of here. I'd rather believe Jesus is a white man than to believe he a cotton picker like you. That's what kata mean. Right. I mean cotton picker. You understand? See, here's what you need to understand, Israelites, that we lived in Egypt amongst the Africans. And to the Africans, we was an abomination. How we the abomination? You eat monkey brains. You eating foo-foo doo-doo pies. But we the abomination. Ain't no sweat. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no sweat. You understand? We don't need no African love. We don't need no go back to Africa campaign. We should stay out their country. We should stay out their land. That's their land. You know what I'm saying? Let them go eat all the giraffe pies. You know what a giraffe pie is, Kalataza? You know what a cow pie is? Shit patty. You know what I'm saying? They call them cow pies because it come out like a giant pizza pie when it hit the ground. And when it dries up, it'll be like a big old dried up dish, like a big old dried up pizza dough. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you ever stepped in a fresh, warm cow pie, you better hope you have on boots. You understand? You ever stepped in a cow pie, Galatasaray? Man, listen. I back in the day, I used to think I was clean because I wore these Stacey Adams loafers, right? When I go to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think they was. Yeah, I think they was Stacey Adams. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the nicest dress shoes I ever owned. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I used to get all my dress shoes at Payless. You know what I'm saying? All my work clothes come Payless and Walmart. You know what I'm saying? I ain't spending no more than $12 on these shoes, $25. You know what I'm saying? But these was probably the nicest dress shoes I think I owned back in the day. I was still in college. I was an intern. And my boss man, you know, he was a brother. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of respect for this brother. He was a black man living in a predominantly white town, and he was rich, and he had the he had what was it? I can't think of the word, but it's one of the most rarest cows that you could have. They were some of the most highest value cows that you could have. They were called miniature Herefords, and like you have Herefords, which is like a big shaggy cow, like a shaggy brown cow, and the Herefords about the size of like an Angus cow, but then you have this miniature Herefords, which is almost like it all. And the steak, oh man, the steaks are so good. The steaks are so good. You'll never find it in a restaurant. Go ahead.
It's like that's like a wagyu cow.
No, because wagyu is an unhealthy cow actually. Because a wagyu cow is the way it is because of the diet that it's on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that would be considered wagyu or not. It didn't necessarily look like it. Kind of looked more like American wagyu. Wagyu. You know what I'm saying? More so than that Japanese wagyu.
Okay.
Like Japanese wagyu to me look like liver mush. You ever seen liver mush? You ever heard of it? You ain't never heard of liver mush. Well, don't look it up because it looked like something. It looked like a Halloween prop. You know what I'm saying? It don't look like food, but there's a stuff called liver mush. You know what I'm saying? I didn't believe it was a thing until I seen it in the store. You know what I mean? But there's this stuff called liver mush. And but nevertheless, the meat, like he had one that he had to put down because I think it like broke his leg or something like that. And so it was only two employees that worked with him. So he gave me half a cow and gave him half a cow. And man, that was the best beef I ever had. The best steaks, the best beef ribs, the best burgers. I mean, just the way you barely had to season it. You know what I mean? It's just tender. It was the most tender beef I ever had. Like even cooked well done, it was the most tender beef you'd ever eat. You understand? It was so flavorful and juicy. But nevertheless, so one day, you know, because I do like graphic design, web design, stuff like that. And you know, back in the day, I was an intern for a software company, and his side business was a cattle ranch, and the office was on the cattle ranch. So, you know, one day we working on his website, and one of his newborn cows is being born, and so he comes and gets me, say, "Hey man, we need to go out here and we need to get some pictures of this, you know, take some pictures of the cow being born, and you know, see the cow take its first steps and all that." So I took pictures of the whole process, and right after I got done taking pictures, I stepped back in a cow pie. Now I got a big foot. Not only do I got a big foot, but I got a fat foot, a big fat foot, a big giant foot. And when I stepped in that cow pie, that thing covered me up to the ankle. That thing covered my foot up to the ankle. I just felt all the warmth just soaked my whole foot. Whole foot just got warm. Whole foot warm, hot. warm. It's a summer day. The pie still steaming. You know what I'm saying? Stepped in a fresh cow pie. Man, that tripped me out so bad, man. I got so sad. You know, they sitting there laughing at me the whole way back to the office. I get back to the office, man. I took my shoe off, took my sock off, worked the rest of the day, and nothing but my feet. And when I went home, man, I left them shoes right there on that front porch of that office. You know what I'm saying? It came back the next day, it was an old crusty mess. But yeah, I mean, nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? If Ham want to eat that, then let him eat that. You understand? But him eating that and calling me an abomination, it don't make no more sense than the Egyptians doing all the abominations they did and calling the children of Israel an abomination. You understand? We not them. The Lord said he put a difference between, you understand, the Israel and the Egyptians. You understand? Read on.
Okay. Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token.
That blood that's a token, that token of blood, right? Now, of course, this day we no longer require a sacrifice for the forgiveness of sins. You understand? Why is that? Because of the sacrifice of what Christ did. You understand? When Christ went up there on that cross, you understand? Now that is the blood that is on that doorpost. So now, instead of you having to go out and physically sacrifice that lamb, it's already done. It's already done for you. You understand? As long as you follow Christ, as long as you follow Yahushua, you understand? He follow the men that follow Yahushua. You understand? And there's only one body of men. There's always been one body that follow Yahushua. You understand? And I remember one Israelite group tried to justify. I remember they made a video where they was talking about because sometimes I get curious and I try to go look up and see what would make a person, what would make them, why do they teach what they teach? Like, what's their justification for being a separate group? You understand? And then they brought down the scripture and their reason for being a separate Israelite group, or their justification for it, is when they were talking about when Paul was talking to the Pharisees. And he said that the scribes and the Pharisees, or the Pharisees, was a different Israelite group. So you had Yahushua and them, and then you had the scribes and Pharisees. So he's saying that there's always been other Israelite groups. You understand? I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, they literally compared themselves to the scribes and Pharisees. You understand? But let me ask you a question. Was the scribes and Pharisees following Christ? La. So you know what that means? That means that blood on that post don't cover them, because they ain't entering into that straight gate. You understand? So when that World War III comes, you understand? All you got to do is serve the Lord, keep the commandments, turn back to the Lord, come into the UPK, turn back to the Lord, keep the commandments, and shut up and follow orders. You understand? And you know what's going to happen? You're going to end up getting delivered in the Third World War. You understand? You don't want to come into the UPK. You want to stay in your little fake Israelite group. No sweat. No sweat. And when your ass get drafted, you understand? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Don't call me. I ain't affiliated. I'm not affiliated with no other Israelite group. You know what I'm saying? When your Israelite leader tell you go ahead and sign up for that draft, you know what I'm saying? Because IURC teach you can join the military. You know that, right, Kalatazar? Right. They tell you join the military. Join it. Because they take orders to do it. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? The Sodomites in Sodom was Sodomites too. You know what I'm saying? You tell them brothers to do that way, yeah, they doing that. I guess that's what Gorilla Hebrew said. Well, they were Sodomites in Sodom. You know what I'm saying? Man, I read them text messages today for the first time. Man, I didn't want to read them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to read them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to think it could get any worse. And by golly, turned out this flaming, bag of Skittles was lying the whole time, talking about it was a fantasy. And you know that movie, what's that movie called? Don't Be a Menace, the South Central.
Right.
The dude was like, lock me up. He was like, lock me up. Take me to jail. Take me to jail. Throw away the key. And he said, I ain't afraid to yada, 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 yada. And everybody was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then the dude was like, oh, y'all thought I was for real? Oh, no, those was jokes. Yeah, those was jokes. I'm just joking with y'all. That's what Hebrew Academy did. I mean, not Hebrew Academy, Gorilla Hebrew. That's what Gorilla Hebrew did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He tried to say, no, that was a fantasy. I was pretending to do that. Oh, you was pretending about it. You pretended to buy the thing. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't use it. Turns out the whole time he did use it. You know what I'm saying? He definitely used it. You know what I'm saying? Gave him feedback and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Like he done effed up the church's money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got up there and try to call out Captain Tazariot and say, I ain't never done this. Well, brother, I can't believe nothing you say now. You know what I'm saying? And personally, if you take a rubber rod, you take a real rod. You know what I'm saying? And what's the difference?
Take that.
Pause. You know what I'm saying? Pause. No Diddy. No gorilla. No monkey business. No Sakari. You know what I'm saying? And don't Sakari mean dagger? That mug over there getting stabbed. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, back in the day, man, we used to say that. Like, man, I'm trying to stab. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm trying to cut. She gonna let me stab. She gonna let me cut. Gorilla over there getting cut, getting stabbed. You know what I'm saying? Celebrating the Passover at the strip club. You know what I'm saying? I knew something was off. Well, my first red flag and all of what he was saying and how I knew this wasn't no fantasy is when he said that term going vanilla. You know what I'm saying? You probably don't know Kalatazar. You was, you know what I'm saying? You was kidnapped by a oppressor at the time. You know what I'm saying? But he said something about, I still don't quite understand. I mean, I guess I understand what vanilla, what it means to go vanilla, but I'd never heard that term before. You know what I'm saying? I had never heard the term going vanilla. Like I never knew it. I never. If somebody would have ever said it to me, if somebody ever said it to me, it probably went over my head. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that means. Never knew what that means. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, I didn't even know what the pegging meant until this situation. Like I thought I thought a peg was like, like some people say, when I heard peg, I'm thinking like pegboard, but I'm thinking like the peg leg that the pirates had. You know what I mean? When a pirate had their leg cut off, they had that wooden leg. They called it a peg leg. That's what I used to think. I used to think about you know what I'm saying? You got an amputated leg. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what you were saying earlier. Sakara does mean dagger.
Yeah, it means dagger. You know what I'm saying? That's a fitting name. You know what I'm saying? Dagger. You know what I'm saying? Little Dagger Squad. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on that.
Okay.
Junior Hunter killed me when he said he called it a rubber ducky. Man, I about choked on my food when he said that. Oh man, hey, the generals are hilarious. I swear, they got to be the funniest niggas on the planet, especially General Hyman. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
Okay. Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt.
So now keep that in mind. If you're not in the body of Christ, because that blood on the doorpost in latter times is in reference to the body of Christ. So if you are not in the body of Christ at that time period, you are not going to be spared from the plagues that's coming on this earth. You know what I'm saying? You think you are. You think you in an Israelite group. You think you in the truth. You know what I'm saying? You think because you went and stapled some little tutus, you stapled a tutu on the bottom of your t-shirt, looking like a ballerina. You understand? You think because you got a bed sheet on with a hole in it, calling it a garment, that you thinking that you in the truth. Think because you say Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, brethren. You know what I'm saying? You thinking that you in the truth. If you ain't following our king and the men that our king set up under him, you ain't covered by that blood. You understand? Stop playing with the Lord, man. Stop playing with the Lord before it be you on that screen next. You understand? Read on.
Okay. Verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by ordinance forever. 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
Now read that again from the top. So this is how you celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Read it again from the top.
Okay. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
So for 7 days ye shall eat unleavened bread. You understand? You shall eat. You eat. So 7 days, when you sit down with your meal or throughout the day, you have your little piece of unleavened bread to commemorate, you know what I mean, as a memorial for what the Lord did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Read on.
Okay. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
So now the first day, you know what I'm saying? Typically we do it before we even leave for the Passover. You understand? Before we leave for the Passover, we take all of the goods in our house that contain leaven or leavening agent, or the baking soda, yeast, things like that. You know what I'm saying? We take them and we take them out of our house. Read on.
Okay. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
So when was the Passover? The Passover was this past Saturday. You understand? At sundown. Now, starting Sunday at sundown, that will be the first day of the of unleavened bread. Now, read that one part again.
Okay. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day.
So whosoever eateth unleavened bread from the first day, from Sunday, from this past Sunday. So even if you're a fake Israelite who celebrated the Passover 2 weeks ago, you are eating leavened bread on the first day of the unleavened bread. So if you didn't celebrate the Passover this past Saturday, first of all, the only way to celebrate the Passover is to come wherever Commander General Hunter say to go to. So if you ain't celebrating the Passover under Commander General Hunter, then you ain't celebrating the Passover.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You celebrating, I don't know what y'all figures are like celebrating. I don't know what y'all got going on. Y'all having the Passover in Africa, having the Passover at the strip club. You know, I don't know what y'all got going on. But if you eating unleavened bread, if you is eating leavened bread on Sunday, go ahead.
Until the seventh day.
Until the seventh day, which will be Saturday. So from Sunday to Saturday, you understand? We are not to eat any leavened bread, no leavening whatsoever. You understand? So you can have you some corn chips. You understand? Certain chips and products that seem like they leaven, but they not, like cheese doodles. You know what I'm saying? Cheese doodles. That one blew my mind. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I had no idea that some puffy bread snack, you know what I'm saying, wasn't leavened. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That soul shall be cut off from Israel.
You know what I'm saying? That soul shall be cut off from Israel. In other words, it's unlawful for you to eat leaven during the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Right.
During these 7 days, the 7 days we in right now, it is unlawful to be eating leavened bread. You understand? So put down your cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? Put down your peanut butter jelly sandwich, your slice of pizza, your KFC chicken. Somebody pull it up. No sweat. Go ahead and double check that out. All right, so during that 7 day period, you do not eat any leavened bread. You understand? You don't eat. You know what I mean? First thing you do is you get it all out of your house. Now, does that mean throw everything away? No. You know what I mean? But you want to take it out of your living quarters. You understand? So, for instance, you want to, what you could do with it is you could put it in your trunk of your car. You put it in the garage. You know what I mean? If you have a basement, it's like a traditional basement. Not like a furnished basement where you be chilling at and playing a game and shooting pool and watching movies. And, if it's livable, it don't count. But, if it's an unlivable space, you put it out of your living quarters. You know what I'm saying? So, but you want to get it out of your house. You know what I'm saying? For 7 days. Read on.
Okay. Verse 16. And then the first day, there shall be a holy convocation.
It shall be what?
An holy convocation.
So a holy convocation, meaning that we should all come together and have a feast. You know what I'm saying? To celebrate, to bring in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And that happened Sunday down in Atlanta. You understand? Well, we came together and we had a feast. And we brought in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You understand? So, you know what I mean? So if you was in Atlanta or you went to the Passover, the next day after the Passover, you would have another holy convocation to bring in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Read on.
And in the 7th day, there shall be an holy convocation to you. So
at the end of it, there's another holy convocation. So basically, it's like a Sabbath service. So we will have a Sabbath service to open up the feast. We will have another Sabbath service to close the feast. Those are the holy convocations. You understand? Read on.
No matter of work shall be done in them.
No manner of work shall be done during this time period. Well, of course, we slaves in America. You know what I'm saying? We slaves. So being that we slaves, we gotta go to work on. We gotta go to some of us. Some brothers and sisters had to go to work on the Passover, and I pray the owner of their companies dropped dead because you wasn't able to get off to go to the Passover. You understand? I pray they choke on their vomit in their sleep because they didn't let you come to the Passover. You understand? Read on.
Save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. 17. And ye shall observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread, for in this same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread.
So now we're establishing it as a high holy day. You understand? Read on.
Okay. Until the 21st day of the month at evening. 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel.
You understand? So he's reiterating the same thing that he just said in the previous verses. You understand? So if you eating leavened bread, then you're supposed to be cut off from the people. You cut off. You exiled. You kicked out. You get the boot. You over here eating leavened bread. You know what I'm saying? Over here eating grilled cheese sandwiches and calzones. You know what I'm saying? During the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's unlawful. You know what I'm saying? Right now, whether you believe it or not, this is the Feast of Unleavened. I don't care if you believe it. I don't care if you don't believe it. I don't care if you think the Passover was 2 weeks ago. The Lord don't care. This is the day. These days that we are in right now. This week is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. You understand? These days, this week is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So if you, even though you celebrated the Feast of Unleavened Bread 2 weeks ago, you're wrong. This is the week. And if you'd have done it back then, like how you doing it today, it'll be so much simpler because you'd all just be unalive. It'd be so much simpler. Go ahead.
Like, if I may,
Go ahead.
I done had some people, I tell them, they be like, oh, you want to go over here? I be like, nah, I can't do that. It's Feast of Unleavened Bread. Like, oh, what's that? And I tell them what it is. And they be like, oh, you can't eat no bread. They act like that's going to kill them or something if they couldn't eat no bread for a week.
Right.
You know, keep on reading something.
Yeah, go ahead. Verse 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Verse 20. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Mm-hmm. So your habitations, and even when you go to and fro. You understand? I mean, when you out here going out eating, man, check the food. Make sure if you eating fried chicken, make sure the batter ain't leavened. You understand? There's tons of ways you can eat. You can survive without the unleavened bread, man. Look, man, Zaxby's got the wing plate. You know what I'm saying? Go to wing stop. I eat a lot of. I mainly eat a lot of chicken wings during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Chicken wings, spaghetti. chicken wings, spaghetti, bobbity bobbity. What else I eat a lot of? Mexican food. You know what I'm saying? You get them corn tortillas. Uh, or you can just get the fajita plate and don't get no tortillas and just throw some rice on that, some cheese on that, some guac, some lettuce. Make it like a Mexican hub. That's what I be doing with my fajita plate. I make like a Mexican hibachi with it. You know what I'm saying? I take the rice, dump it in there, the beans, dump it in there, the lettuce, the sour cream, the tomato, pour a whole bunch of queso cheese on top. And boy, that's some good eating right there. I call it the Mexican hibachi. Just eat it right out the little black pan. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you what, people who got the best fajitas in the world, in my opinion, is Houston, Texas. Want some good hibachi, good not hibachi, some good fajitas, man, go on down there to Houston, Texas. Man. I don't think there's Mexican food like on the planet like Houston outside of Mexico. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't never had California Mexican food, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It was so good. I almost moved to Houston. I almost put my transfer in and got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on.
Okay.
It's at the end of it.
Verse 21.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. Verse 22. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 23.
Just keep reading until I tell you to stop.
Verse 23. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in until the destroyer to come in until your houses to smite you. And ye shall observe this thing for ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
Shall I read that again?
And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
So you shall, you know what I'm saying? We're going to keep these things as an ordinance for our kids and our grandkids, our great grandkids. You understand? And that's why it's so heavy that we really need to wake up and stop being stupid and actually think that it's okay to be in a fake Israelite group. It's time to stop being stupid. You know what I'm saying? There's a time when you was okay to be stupid. Now ain't the time. You know what I'm saying? We're on the brink of World War III. And here's the thing. If you don't think we're on the brink of World War III, look at this. They call it a tariff war. You heard that term, Kalatazar?
Okay.
Tariff war. Going back and forth between China. China and America are in direct economic conflict. You understand? If you want to know what happens next, look up the Japanese and American tariff war. You know what that tariff war led to? It led to the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And you know what the bombing of Pearl Harbor led to? It led to the Second World War. You understand? So this tariff war that they've engaged in with China, it's deep. You understand? I don't think I've ever seen tariffs that high. You understand? 100, was it 150%? Is the tariffs now? You understand? If there's medicine made over these other countries that can't get here, whoever take them medications, they about to be having a bad day. Then you talking about putting tariffs on Israel? It's getting crazy. You understand? And when they tariff you that high, you understand, they start hurting your economy with tariffs. There's really only one way to get rid of that. You understand? Go ahead, read on.
Okay. And it shall come to pass, when ye come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. 26. And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service, that ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed their head in worship. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they. Verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, of all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, and there was not a house for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds, and ye as ye have said, and be gone and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. 34. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kenning throws being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders.
Go ahead. Read that part again.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened.
So here we go. Now it's action time. You understand? And the people took their dough before it was leavened. They ain't even had time for it to leaven. You understand? Read on.
Okay. Their kenning throws being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed from the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people a favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
You can stop right there. Because the point I was wanting to get at is about the unleavened bread. You know what I'm saying? So now we understand how you keep the unleavened bread. You know what I mean? We also understand that uh, the Passover, the month with the Passover is the New Year. You understand? This is the New Year, the springtime. Springtime begins the New Year because that's when you see all the new life. That's when you see the plants. The plants starting to come to life. The flowers starting to have buds. You understand? The bugs starting to come out and pollinate the earth. You understand? That's the new day. That's the beginning of months. That's the new year. You understand? Not the middle of winter. You understand? That's when everything is dead. You know what I mean? Grass don't grow, trees losing their leaves. You know what I'm saying? Even the bears go into hibernation. You know what I'm saying? Not that I got a problem with that, but you know what I'm saying? But that's how all of it's done. You know what I'm saying? And then too, I wanted to bring out that part where when they were fleeing Egypt, you know what I'm saying, when they was making their bread, they had to take their bread before it even had time to rise. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? So spiritually, you think about it, you got and that's how like when you just look at the spirit of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and you put it all together into one nation, you are going to have the children of Israel. You're going to see so many signs that we're the children of Israel. Because look at Hispanic culture. Like, you look up a picture of an unleavened bread, right? And you see it's flat bread. But then you look up a picture of a tortilla. Mexicans and Hispanics been making unleavened bread for centuries, for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? A tortilla is the fastest form of bread you can make. You ever seen someone make a tortilla? And think about that. Think about that. Our brothers and sisters was traveling with stacks of tortillas. Stacks up. You know what I'm saying? You can eat good for weeks with a stack of tortillas. You know what I'm saying? And then even if it get a little stale, you know what I'm saying? Because back in the old days, bread wasn't kept in a bag. You know what I'm saying? Bread was typically hard, crunchy. You know what I'm saying? But you could take that tortilla, you know what I'm saying, throw it in the pan and heat it up, and it'll get fluffy again, get cooked up, get toasty. You know what I'm saying? Throw your food on it, make a burrito out of it. Man, you can do all kinds of things with that unleavened bread, with that good unleavened bread. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Does anybody have any other questions? Any questions in regard to the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Or any questions whatsoever? Did we get any questions in the chat?
Not answer, but I do have a question.
Go ahead, up.
This in Revelations 2:6.
Hold on, let me get there with you. So Revelations 2:6.
Kind of.
Hold on. Revelation 2 and verse 6. Go ahead.
I was just wanting to know who was the Nicolaitans that Christ said he ate.
Okay, so Nicolaitans, Nicolaitans. I'm gonna give you an idea of who the Nicolaitans are today. A lot of brothers and sisters in the world are Nicolaitans. Another word for Nicolaitan is a reveler, someone who parties and has promiscuous sex. Like, you know how it is when we was in the world. We just go to the club, find a little PYT, you know what I'm saying? Hit the motel, you know what I'm saying? You know, that whole culture, hookup culture, you know what I'm saying? That right there is what a Nicolaitan is, like a party animal, like someone who parties, gets high, likes to have a lot of sex. You know what I mean? You know how it is. You know that culture. When you're in the club every weekend, trying to freak something every weekend. Girl got on the freakum dress. She going out there giving that cat up on the weekends. You know what I mean? That right there is a Nicolaitan. You know what I'm saying? So he says, so you think about it, he says, but this uh says, but this thou hast, that thou hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate. You know what I'm saying? The deeds of the Nicolaitans, meaning the whoredom, the adultery, the because think about it, that culture commits every abomination. You see what I'm saying? That culture commits every abomination. LGBT, whoredom, adultery, fornication. Sometimes it's what's the word I'm looking for? Pedophilia, because sometimes it be underage girls in the club getting picked up by grown men, and vice versa. Sometimes it be underage boys in the club getting picked up by grown women. You know what I mean? And it happens. I know. 'Cause I at one point in time I was an underage boy in the club. You know what I'm saying? And they get towed back. You know what I'm saying? Uh, shoot. But that whole culture, doing drugs, all of that, getting high. It's the party. You know what I mean? The having fun all the time, and to the point where it leads to unbridled sin. Right. Not saying it's a sin to go to the club. You know what I mean? It's not even a sin to go to the club every weekend. But there's a certain type of people who go to the club every weekend, and almost every night they go out, they're having sex with somebody else, somebody new. You know what I'm saying? They're doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? They getting high. You know what I'm saying? They serving they lust, every piece of it. Everything that they lust for, they go out and they get, and they party, and they, what I mean, they go to Vegas every weekend or something like that. What the rich cats do. You know what I'm saying? A party animal. College kid. Most college kids, a lot of college kids are Nicolaitans. You know what I'm saying? So, what I mean, that's what that is. That's talking about like the ones who, that's basically what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the Nicolaitans were known for. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what he's saying. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm trying to describe to you?
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Strip clubs, making it rain, snorting coke out of strippers' butt crack, all of that. You know what I mean? That all of that is Nicolaitan activities.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You had a question in the comments.
Go ahead.
Sister Yaila, she asked, is baking powder unlawful?
During the Feast of Unleavened Bread, yes, is unlawful. Um, yeah, it's unlawful because you can use it to leaven. It's a leavening agent, so you can use it to make bread rise. So, um, now, are you asking in context of like your toothpaste or it being a part of another ingredient? Sometimes it can differ, but baking powder itself is unlawful and should be out of your house. Any other questions?
La-
We'll give them another minute, another 2 minutes. Got any questions? Go ahead and type them in. Oh, she says it's baking powder. Yes, baking powder is absolutely unlawful.
It's like I said, baking soda.
Yeah, she was asking. Yeah, when I actually looked at the question, she says, "Is baking powder lawful? Unlawful?" She said, "I know baking soda is." And so, yeah, baking powder is unlawful. Baking soda, it depends on what it's in, but baking powder for sure is unlawful. And as far as what baking soda is in that is considered lawful, I don't know. You're gonna have to get counsel. I know that there's some seasonings that contain baking soda, um, but that seasoning could not be used as a leavening agent. So there are certain instances where that baking soda would not be a leavening agent. It would not be able to make bread rise. But as far as the counsel on that, I would say get counsel because I'm not 100% certain on all of that whole breakdown. But baking powder, I do know for sure is unlawful. Any other questions? Now, what is the spiritual significance of purging that leaven from your house? What does that signify? I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Someone type it in the chat. What does it signify? What is the signification of purging out, of getting all of that leaven out of your house? You want to give it a try, Kalataza?
What's the reason for getting the leaven out your house?
Yeah. What's the symbolism behind it? Anyone can answer.
I'm not sure.
We got a not sure. Let's see what the chat say. I know it's probably a delay between real life and the chat. What does the chat say? Just somebody know the answer. Somebody knows the answer. Somebody knows.
But let's
So we got somebody type says when we left Egypt, we didn't have leaven. No. No. That is not why. It's not the symbolism behind it. What is the symbolism behind it?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Is it a symbolism for Christ?
Explain.
Because Christ rose on the third day.
No. No, it ain't got nothing to do with Christ rising. Say Christ rising, your bread ain't. Your bread ain't gonna be only Christ gonna rise. Ain't no bread rising. Nah, that ain't it. Oh, go ahead, Salakia.
He was telling them to eat the bread and drink of his blood.
No. All right. So for time's sake, I'm gonna give it to you. Good tries, good answers, but I'm gonna give it to you. All right. So the leaven is symbolic of sin. So we purge the leaven. It's symbolic of us purging ourselves of sin. That's why the scripture says a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Matter of fact, let me get that scripture. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Give me verse 6. Add this to your breakdown. Write that down. Write this down. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 6. And start there, Baba Kasha.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 5 and 6. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaveneth the whole lump?
Now listen. It says, your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Meaning that you can have a pound of flour and you have 1 teaspoon of yeast. And you mix it all together, eventually that teaspoon of yeast is going to make that entire pound of flour rise. You understand? Read on.
Purge out therefore the old leaven.
So it says, purge out, therefore, the old leaven. Now, how do we know that this is talking about sin? Because you can't take leaven out of a loaf of risen bread, though. You can't take dough and purge out the leaven out of it. You can't do that. You see what I'm saying? So it's saying, purge out, therefore, the old leaven. You understand? Meaning purge out all the sin, the wickedness that's in our own hearts. You understand? Us chasing after our lusts. You understand? In other words, purge out your old mind. You understand? Everything that you thought you knew, everything that you thought you was good at, that you thought you were so great, that was so great about you. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you thought you knew. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you thought the world was like, purge all of it out. Read on.
That ye may be a new lump.
That you may be a new lump. You understand? Read on.
As ye are unleavened.
As ye are unleavened. You understand? Read on.
For even Christ, our Passover is sacrificed.
For even Christ, our what?
Our Passover.
So Christ is our Passover. You understand? Christ is our Passover. That's what I was mentioning earlier. You understand about how if you're not in the ISUPK, you ain't celebrating the Passover. I don't know what you're doing, but it ain't the Passover. You understand? Now we do it because we're rehearsing the righteous acts, but Christ is the Passover. You understand? So you got to be under him to get delivered from the plagues of this world. You got to be following his orders. You got to be, you know what I mean? And how do you know? How do you know? The scriptures say, whosoever ye, hold on, let me I'm paraphrasing. Whosoever ye give your members to, whose servants ye are. You understand? So if you following Christ, then you're doing what he said to do. Then you following his orders. And one of his orders was we was not supposed to split up into different Israelite groups. You were supposed to continue in the same group that he raised up in 1969. That's what Christ said. You understand? So it said Christ is our Passover. You understand? And and I'll read the last part where it says it's sacrificed for us. You understand? So it says to purge out, therefore, the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. Meaning that leaven is the bullshit, the lies from these other religions. You understand? That's the leaven. You know, the scriptures talk about, it says, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. You understand? Things like that. You understand? Beware of the leaven of these fake Israelite groups. You understand? These false doctrines, these false beliefs. You understand? All of those things, the book of Jasher and the book of Enoch, all of that is the leaven. And it says, purge ye out, therefore, the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump. So you need to purge your mind of all the bullshit. Purge your mind. Christ said no man can enter into the kingdom unless he first be born again. You have to be born again. You have to forget everything that you ever knew. And you have to come in here and learn it all over again the right way. You understand? You have to forget everything. And when you forget everything, now you got a million questions. And guess what? Ask them a million questions. And we got millions of answers. You understand? Read on. Verse was it verse 8?
Okay. Verse 8. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
See, it's not, so the leaven is not talking about, so the leaven is symbolic. You understand? The leaven is a symbolic act. You understand? That represents us purging out sin from our nation and from our hearts and our minds. You understand? Read on.
But with the unleavened bread of serenity and truth.
Sincerity and truth.
Select.
Go ahead. You understand? It says, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. You come into this truth and be sincere. You understand? You be sincere. You be serious. Don't play with it. Don't come in here acting like you know every fucking thing. So, like, excuse my language. Don't come in here acting like you know everything, because you don't know a damn thing. You understand? You don't know a damn thing, because if you did know, you would have been in a long time ago. You understand? You don't know a damn thing. That's what Christ is coming to do, is to make us wise. You understand? The truth is what will make you wise. You understand? And with that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out on 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commander Junior Hunter. My name is Priest and Officer Dr. Zakabar. You understand? Pay your tithes. Go to isupk.com and click on tithes and donations. Pay 10% of your income goes to the Lord. You understand? Make sure you subscribe to Commander Junior Hunter. You understand? The real General Yohana. You understand? Subscribe to isupk.com, ISUPK South Carolina, man. Subscribe to No Cows South Carolina. How you watching class and you ain't subscribed, man? Subscribe, man. Even if you don't like the UPK, subscribe. Just subscribe, man. You know what I'm saying? Help us run them numbers up, man. You know what I'm saying? Help a black man. You know what I'm saying? With that, also this Saturday, if you are in the Greenville, upstate South Carolina area, if you're in South Carolina, period, and you would like to close out the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you understand? At the school, we will be closing out the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You know what I'm saying? And you are more than welcome to come. Bring your kids, bring your mama and them. You know what I'm saying? Come get some of this brotherhood, man. You know what I'm saying? And don't come empty-handed, man. You know, I'm not saying it's required to bring some, but bring some, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can bring a little something, bring some box of wine or something. You know what I'm saying? We're breaking out, we're gonna be able to eat leavened bread then. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised if it's some biscuits and some Hawaiian rolls up in this junk. And you know what? And if you broke, man, who cares? You ain't broke because you got brothers. You know what I'm saying? Come on, come pull up. We all broke, man. We all oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Pull up, man. Come get this brotherhood, man. Don't let Satan get in your mind and be like, nah, I'm not going to come because I ain't got no money. Man, you better call Captain Natazar and tell Cap you need a ride to the close of the feast day. And you know what? Cap going to put somebody on it and they're going to come by and scoop you up. You know what I'm saying? Because we an army in here, man. We give orders and we take orders. You know what I'm saying? And with that, shalom.